Good morning, everybody. My name is James Sterling, and I call this Sterling's Corner because I'm actually in the corner with my TikTok desk here, my son Josiah. My YouTube page is called PTSD Life Coach, and I want to talk about PTSD, but before I do, I want to show that I am a veteran of the United States Navy, and I want to explain what it is to be a veteran. Well, what it is to be a veteran is that you cannot be dishonorably discharged. In other words, you cannot be kicked out for any reason at all. That means you have finished your service, you have completed your contract with the United States government for whatever years. When you go into the military, there are different contracts: 3x4, 4x2. It centers around like 6 years and how you're going to divide it. I did a 3x3. In other words, I did 3 years in and 3 years out. That was my contract. Everybody makes their own contract, in which I got a few perks, but we're not here to talk about that. I'm a veteran. That means I completed my service. PTSD. What is PTSD? PTSD is called post-traumatic stress syndrome. Let's break that down for 2 seconds. What does post means? After. Traumatic. After a traumatic event, you're stressed. Post-traumatic stress syndrome is continually to be stressed about that trauma that you either saw or was a part of, and it's stressing you out. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. And who has post-traumatic stress syndrome? Everybody. Everybody. They act like veterans and police officers and people who have a traumatic job. They're the only ones that have stress, and the normal person doesn't have PTSD. Well, PTSD, everybody has it. There's not one person in the world without post-traumatic stress syndrome. Okay, and what that means is everybody have seen something traumatic, even if it was in a movie that could be fiction, but it could have stressed you out because it hit home. So I mean, when you're born, what is the first thing that happens to you to make you bleed? You are hit, you are struck, a violent act, you're spanked on the butt. And what do? You cry. That's your breathing is something that happened after a traumatic event. So we are born into post-traumatic stress. You know, people say sin, okay? Why do we sin? When did we sin? If we are born sin, when you're born, you've committed no sin. They say you're born into sin because Adam and Eve, that's another story. That's another subject. But what is sin? When does sin when do you commit your first sin? It's the same for everybody. Black, white, no matter what race you are. Sin is the same for everybody. And when you have a formula of something, or you come up with the equation or the answer to something, the answer has to not only be weighed on its way up. If it cannot be weighed on its way down, it's not the right answer. So it has to work forwards and backwards for it to be a correct answer. So when did we as people, when you're born, black, white, whatever race you are, when you're born, when did you commit your first sin? Everybody commits their first sin the same way every time, everybody, every human being in the world. Let me explain. So when you're born, you have done no sin. You just came out and you were violently hit to actually breathe, and you breathe. Let me stop there for a second. What is God's name? They call him Yahweh. The reason why they call him Yahweh, because God's name has no name. You can't spell God's name because God's name is actually a sound. That's God's name. And God's name, when you first wake up in the morning and you go, that's God's name. When you were first violently hit when you were born and you go, that's God's name. That's why they call it Yahweh, because they try to put letters to that sound. Wait, get it? You're breathing. Wait, that's God's name, Yahweh. Wait, when you spank a baby, he goes, Yahweh. That's God's name. It's a sound. It is not capital G-O-D, God. No, and Yahweh is the best way to spell God's name, because God's name is a sound. The sound that you make when you're born and you take your first breath. That's God's name. So, my son, the reason why on my YouTube channel, I'm not going to promote me finding justice for my son Josiah. My son Josiah was unalived, and actually here he goes right here where I go. My son goes. Here's my flag that the Navy gave me because I'm a veteran, and they gave it to me for his funeral. And my son Josiah, where I'm at, he's at. I'm a veteran in the United States military. I took an oath to protect America from all enemies, foreign and domestic. If you don't understand what that means, even if there was terrorists in America, my job is to protect America in America from that enemy. So I say that to say that whoever was responsible for my son not being alive today, I'm going to fight that fight to the end. So, but like I said, my YouTube channel, in which I'm directing this video, is for PTSD education. This video is for educational purposes only. And the reason why I wore my uniform is because I want to teach about protection. Now, this video is going to be very controversial and very long, so please go get you something to drink, settle down, or pause this, go get you something to drink, settle down, and here we go. I am actually looking to be on somebody's podcast, or I'm looking for somebody to contact me in a way where we can, because I need a videographer, because as I'm speaking right now, it would be nice if there were videos above me to show some of the things I say, to give me receipts for some of the things I say. I can't do that. Once you get so far gone in the video, I can't stop if I make a mistake. So there's going to be a lot of mistakes being made, and we're going to have to go on and deal with that. So here we go. Let's buckle in. I want to talk about our black people being scammed, because I think we're being scammed within. Okay, I want to explain some of my some terminologies that you may have heard and may not understand. Do you know what step and fetching means? Do you know what a Pied Piper? It's a saying about this young man was playing the flute and he was bringing the rats out of the town by music. There was a movie called Sinners that was just made, and in the Sinners, the vampires wanted to use music to fulfill their cult, and that's what a Pied Piper, the modern Pied Piper, do. They use music to hypnotize you to not be better people, and so I have a YouTube page. I have my YouTube page, James Sterling, PTSD Life Coach, and I have a TikTok page. I think my TikTok page is just James Sterling. You could find it. I think there are links to it. If not, look for me. I used to have long, beautiful dreads. I had to cut them to for my fight for my son. And that was warranted, and I have to do what you have to do for protection. Because when I was in the military, I was apt to give up my life to protect all Americans. And it's funny that I was allowed to fight and kill for my country, but my country will not let me fight for my child. And this is why I'm here, because the fight for black men, for our children, is being sabotaged by our own women. Who talks about black men more than anybody in the world? Our black women. And I say that to say it hurts to see that, because our black women have become step infections for family court and criminal court. And the rule is, all you have to do is say a couple of magic words, and you can turn beautiful veterans like myself into criminals, into deadbeat dads. And I went to the military because I did not like the title of nigger. And I thought that I could replace the title of nigger with honorable, hero, honor and hero. Obviously, that's where PTSD comes from most black veterans, because when we come home, there is no support for us. Back in World War II, when the veterans came back, they used to call it shell-shocked. Now they stepped it up to PTSD. There was a lot of different names for it. And what does shell-shocked and PTSD mean? Well, when we were overseas, when we were fighting for I cannot talk about World War II back then, when the world was more segregated. I'm going to talk about when I was in the military in 1986 is when I served. I'm way older than I look, but to say I was in the service in 86, you can kind of guess I'm kind of old. But PTSD, when I was in the service, I was taught that you're protected by the man in front of you, by the man behind you, by the man on your left and the man on your right. Okay, this is what we were taught. And the man behind you could have been Spanish, the man beside you could have been Asian, the man on this side could have been white, and the man in front of you could have been black. But you felt protected by everyone, no matter the race, the size, or whatever. We all protected each other. We also had a creed called "Leave no man behind." Thus, I will never leave no man behind. Okay, and when we got out, I'm gonna talk about my experience. When I got out of the military, for some reason I thought that it was gonna be like that for me in the world, because they teach you how to unalive people and eat and still be functional. Okay, so death in itself is not what caused us PTSD. What caused us PTSD is the realization that you have never swapped titles. You always keep the title of nigger. Always, no matter what other title you add to it, you are heroic nigger. You are honorable nigger. And that realization is what gave me PTSD, is that you can never shed the title of nigger. Terrence Bud Crawford is the best boxer in the world at this point. And he has, in Omaha, Nebraska, he has a small town, Omaha, and it took weeks to get the permits. Right after he won from Canelo Alvarez, they got permits, they did a parade for him. Every police officer in that town had to know who Terrence Crawford was. Why are they shutting the main street down? Why am I being asked to do extra overtime and stuff like that, and all of this kind of stuff? That there would be a black man, Terrence Bud Crawford, with armed security. Everybody knew that. The mayor knew it. The mayor put it out. And the same day that Bud Crawford was honored in his town, that night, he could have waved in a car. It doesn't have to mean that the reason why his car was stopped, it didn't have to be targeted. It did not have to be. They could have done something wrong that caught the eye of this police officer. And when they looked and they saw that it was Terrence Bud Crawford, they still put a pew-pew in his face and handcuffs on him. They're the reason for stopping them was that they had a gun? No, you wouldn't know that. So they did not see no gun. They was told there were pew-pews in the car. And so I automatically tied this to the hurricane. Anybody ever see the movie with Denzel Washington called The Hurricane, of a famous boxer that was set up by police officers while he was driving a fancy car for that time, better than that police officer that targeted him had. He had lifestyle clothes better than that police officer at that lifetime. And back then it was deeply segregated, as it is now, but just masked. And the same thing happened, a traffic stop. But the hurricane was arrested and put in prison for I don't remember the years, 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, or whatever. This black child read a story about the hurricane. He was adopted by a white family at the time, and he wanted to help the hurricane. A black child, a black boy, and white people helped the hurricane. Was there any black women helping the hurricane do as much? No. Our black women, when we are big, they're by our sides. They're right there. They're part of it. When we are embarrassed, degraded, demoted, when we have that foot on our neck, they disappear. There's another movie, and so I want to compare what happened to the hurricane to what happened to Terrence Bud Crawford. They wanted to let him know that you may be the best boxer of the world, but you're the best nigger boxer of the world. You can never shed that title of nigger. The hurricane thought he could. Terrence Crawford should have been higher and shed that title of nigger. But no, just like the hurricane, just like us black heroes that are veterans, honorably discharged from the military, we are still considered and looked at and frowned upon as niggers and deadbeat dads. That's where I bring the black woman in. That's where I'm going to talk about step infections and black, what do they call that? Pied Pipers that will play nice music like the Sinners and to draw great, beautiful men like myself. Now, a black woman did not do anything for that caused Terrence Crawford demise, but I believe there was a black woman in the car with Terrence Crawford, and you don't hear her speaking out. Now, I don't think she could. I don't think Terrence Crawford's sister, mother, wife, daughters can speak out about that right now because they have to show a level of maturity and a level of professionalism and let the men handle this. So I'm not blaming any woman in Terrence Bud Crawford's family or immediate group to speak out because I know they can't. It's just the way this thing has to be handled with kid gloves. But what about all the other women? All the other black women? Why aren't y'all not marching for Terrence Crawford? Okay, so let's continue. Step infections. What is a step infection? What is a black Pied Piper? Okay, so we understand what a Pied Piper was. You play beautiful music and you lure people to you. What beautiful music is the women playing? They are step infections, black women, for family court and criminal court. I'm a hero. When I signed up to be a hero, there's nothing I wouldn't do for my family. Nothing. Yet I'm looked at as a criminal, deadbeat dad. So I'm some kind of lunatic that would go fight for my country, look for the title of hero, and yet not protect my children, not be a great father, role model to my children, my wife as a great man. I would come out of the military. Before going into the military, I was never arrested. I was actually a hero at my graduation because I stopped this woman from being mugged. And in, I think it's 1976, it's actually in the New York, I was in Brooklyn at the time. It was actually in the New York Times that I helped a woman. I had this newspaper article done about me. And at my graduation, because my mother was a single mother, I could not attend because we couldn't afford to buy me anything. Actually, I was living on my own at 18 years old in my own apartment when I graduated high school because I turned 18 in April. And I vowed that I was going to move out of my house at 18, come hook, crook, or crook. And I did. So when I graduated, and I think it's June 20th, 1976, and I was going to Sarah J. Hale. No. I graduated from high school. I was in high school. I don't remember. When I graduated, I believe it was from it had to be high school. Duh, because I'm 18. So when I graduated from high school, I could not attend my graduation, but I heard that they called my name over to come up on stage to get an award for being a hero, and I wasn't there, and it made me cry. But it is what it is, right? Right. I was tripping about what was it, junior high school or high school, because my junior high school graduation was kind of crappy too. So, with my PTSD, I merged them both as one. That's kind of why it's confusing. And the reason for my channel, PTSD channel, because I would like to make laws to minimize the PTSD that we're giving our children, which they created in 1963, or in the 1960s. There was this body that was formed to make sure that TV didn't do things to give kids PTSD. Would get that would not be inducive for a child to watch. I forgot the name of that thing. They used to monetize all TV programs, commercials, and stuff like that. I think they're the ones that stopped the smoking on TV and stuff like that. And you had to watch what you say in children's magazines when you had to watch how you put children's in movies, because children used to stop school just to do the movies with Charlie Chaplin and stuff like that. And they said you cannot take a child out of school. I forgot the name of the organization, but where are they now? They still get paid. That organization is still around, but they're not protecting our children with what they see on TV. Because as a black man, I was a child, and I was around when black and white TV first came out. I was around when TVs were very small, and then they came out with this floor model TV. We called it a floor model. It was a big metal box. Some had shutters, and you would put things on top of it, and it was called a floor model TV. And if you had a floor model TV, oh my God, you were somebody in the neighborhood. And ever since I watched TV, it was never fair for a black boy or girl to get inspiration. Because when you watch black people on TV, it's always the black superhero always needed help to conquer the criminal or the his opponent or whatever, and the white superheroes always could beat the bad guy on his own, you know. And I found that mentally disturbing, as far as being a role model for me to grow up to be a man. And honestly, today, being as old as I am, I think us black men can get together and sue the TV movie industry, because it's even worse today, and I'll explain. Batman was created by Italian or Jew. I believe Italian or Jewish interracial man. I think his father was Italian or Jewish, I'm not sure, and his mother was black. He lived in the Bronx, New York, of course, where I'm from, where I reside, and where I was born. I was born in the Bronx, but I was raised in Brooklyn. With that said, because I graduated junior high, small school, I was at PS 282 in Park Slope. I went to junior high school 51 on 5th Avenue and Union, by Union. It wasn't on Union. Union was the next block over. But on 5th Avenue. And then I went to Sarah J. Hill, which is no longer exists, and on between 1st and 2nd Avenue on Dean Street. I remember the address for Sarah J. Hill, 500 Dean Street. I don't know why that stuck with me all these years, but it did. Because when I graduated school, we graduated with, I think, 500 students graduated. That's why that 500 matched with the address or something like that. And I was 400 and... I tried to look at where I was on the list of graduatees, if you will, and I was 400 and something, like. And I laugh at it today because it don't matter my number. At least I graduated. You know what I'm saying? And I did the best I could, because my upbringing, all I did was go home, do homework, and that's it. And I kind of raised myself. Another story. But so I was so proud to graduate and on time, because I got left back twice, and I did all I could to get put back up into my right grade. I got left back twice and I got put up twice, so I graduated on time. That was very important to me. As you can see, I'm smiling. My reading skills were never that good, because I was not pushed to educate myself at home. All I would do is do my homework, the bare minimum to the homework, send it in, whatever it got. I didn't care, long as I completed the assignment, and I did the best I could. So it is what it is. When I first took the test for the military, I took the test in the beginning of, at the end of the 11th grade, and I failed. And I don't know how it is today, but when I failed the test for the military, I then studied and studied. I got the ARCO book for the Navy. I don't know if that book still exists today. It was called the ARCO book, and you can get it for police officer, fireman, Navy, whatever. It taught you how to do the test for what you wanted to take a test for. And back then, when you failed the military entry test, you could not take it again for the next 6 months. So for those 6 months, I took the test, and when I was in the 12th grade, I took it again. I took it the next day of my 6 months. 6 months and a day. I ran in there to take the ASVAB test again, and I passed. I just passed. Again, I don't care, as long as the word said passed. He said, Mr. Sterling, I'm standing there and I'm kind of shaking. He said, you passed. And he said, and you just passed by like 2 correct answers, 3 correct answers. And I told him, just like I told you, I don't give a damn as long as I passed. Mr. Sterling, you were 492 on your graduation, on the list of 500 graduating. I don't care. At least somebody's behind me. At least I wasn't 500 out of 500. You know what I'm saying? And if I was 498, I wouldn't care, as long as I was in the group that graduated, and I graduated on time by myself, and I pushed myself up 2 grades because I was left back twice. I'm a winner. Let's continue. I'm so happy. Like I said, here's where the mistakes are going to come, because when I start rambling, I kind of forget where I'm at. So again, we're talking about step infections and stuff like that. So like I said, and my job is to fight fight all enemies, foreign and domestic. Okay. And so we were talking about Bud Crawford, the hurricane. How everybody could see, like, Bud Crawford had a pew-pew in his face, handcuffs to remind him, you're still a nigga. Okay? And step infections. What does step infection mean? I explained to you what the Pied Piper was. If you look at the movie Sinner, you could see step infections. There are black people that are step infections. It's only for black people. Step infection is a phrase that can only be used to and for black people, and I'll tell you why. Because a step infection is somebody that the white person employs, hires, or empowers to keep us black people down. Okay? And California, filled with actors, scammers, and step infections. This one lady from California, she works for TikTok, all right? And I don't believe the people that made TikTok was thinking about keeping the black people down. They were thinking about making money. Okay, I don't believe that people that made TikTok, but now the people that saw TikTok for what it could be used for, they got hired in, and they kind of put in their own narrative to use TikTok to keep black people down, to keep pushing that the black family is separated, to keep give a platform for black women to degrade the black man. If you degrade the black man, then you degrade the black children. If you degrade the black children of the boy, you're giving them PTSD. Okay? And so there's this black lady from California, and California people, black people, think they're more intelligent than all other black people around the country. When they went to California, and this lady said, I wanted to be an actor. She failed, a failed actor. So they go into these scams, if you will. Now, there are safe scams and there are illegal scams. This scam is not illegal. It's a safe scam that she cannot get arrested for or any time for, but it's still a step infection, Pied Piper, black woman Pied Piper type thing. Okay, let me explain. So I'm on TikTok, and I'm looking for on TikTok. I promote Justice for Josiah, not on YouTube. On TikTok, I promote Justice for Josiah. And so I'm on TikTok, I do my lives, and I'm trying to get people to help me. If you have a podcast, if you have media ties to the media, or politicians that could help a veteran get justice for his son. I fought for my country, and I'm going to fight for my son. I did not give up on my country, and I will not give up on my son. So I'm on TikTok, and I'm asking for help. And I'm saying to anybody, if you want to help me, if you can help me, DM me. So this lady from California, this step infection lady from California, she contacts me. I work for TikTok, and I'm going to help you. So I'm listening to see if this is the type of something that I want to be involved in. It's a black woman, so I'm hoping that, you know, I can get some help and understanding. And everybody says, sorry for your loss. Thank you for your service. That's all we get. They might as well say nigga at the end. Sorry for your loss, nigga. And thank you for your service, nigga. Because that's all you're getting. Sorry for, that's it. That's all you get from black people. So this lady, she goes into my DM. She tells me, I can help you get justice for your son. Because she's saying, and because they think they're more intelligent than us from California. So she's trying to get me into her organization as a stepping fetching woman to bring me down. And let me explain how. She's trying to put a cap on my success for getting help for my son. She says, I'm going to help you be an influencer. I'm going to help you get more views and get your story out there. And that's how you can get help. No, that's not how I can get help. But let's go on. Then she goes to tell me how her husband is a beautiful black man and he's a mogul and he helped TLC, LL Cool J, and all these people. He made songs for them. He knows rappers and he knows all of these people in the industry. So I'm thinking that's where she's going to help me. She's going to have her husband help me, you know, make a nice documentary video, or help me with, I'm trying to, you know, raise funds so I could pay for these videos, and I could pay for a videography to make me a nice video. No, she's on there to make me an influencer. And you can get a lot of money from this, and you can earn, I see in your site a lot of people are involved, and you could do this, and you could get coins. Do you have your credit card hooked up to TikTok so they could pay you? Ma'am, I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm looking for help for my son. So can you go off script, ma'am, and ask your husband for help? No. I'm not here to help you do that. I'm here to help you be an influencer. So you're stepping fetching. So not the owners of TikTok, but the people that are employed by TikTok, the people without melanin that are employed by TikTok, they see that this is a way to keep us down, to keep our women on there doing the stuff, to keep the show that the young men without fathers in their homes are wearing skirts in Atlanta and saying that down in Atlanta they say having AIDS is okay because it won't kill you with the modern technology. This is what they're pushing. This is the content that this lady is helping the people that work for TikTok, not make TikTok, work on educational purposes only, that work for TikTok, is trying to push the narrative that you could be successful as a dropout of high school. You don't have to go to school. All you have to do is be a TikTok influencer. And then she brings this thing up for free. You don't have to pay. Listen, black men, black children, and the decent black women that are out there, because there are a small amount of decent black women out there. The main body of black women are step infections, and I'm sorry to say, because like I said, there's nobody that talk about the black man and the black family and breaks up the black family and put their foot on the neck of the black family than the black woman. The black man is the most hated man in the world. Right now, Israel is fighting the Palestinians or whomever, and they're sending bombs over another country, sending them way over. They still hate black men worse than they hate each other. They're bombing each other. And my heart goes out to them. I'm a veteran. My heart goes out to the women, children, and for the pedestrians that are get caught in the middle of this. My heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to you. And this is sincerely, okay? But you guys still hate us black people more than you hate each other. Israel and the Palestine, they don't respect black people at all. So the black man and the black child is more hated around the world than any other race in the world. You ask most white people, they rather keep the Mexicans and deport the black people. Just keep that in your mind. The white people are fighting to bring the Mexicans back. But the black man, we the most hated in the world. How many countries, how many men in any other country will leave their country, sell their stuff, come to America to marry a black woman, to find and marry a black woman? Now, many of men from England and all around the world will come to America to marry a black woman, a successful black woman. And I call that stealing from us. See, the successful black woman will not share that success within the black community nor the black family. And I can prove it. You name me one black politician, lawmaker, especially woman. I'm talking to women now. Name me one black woman politician, senator, or anybody that has done something great for the black family, that has spoken black unity. Just name me one black woman in a powerful position that helps black people. You name me one black manager in McDonald's, Walmart, wherever you want, that will bring in black men to get them jobs for their black families. You look at AutoZone. AutoZone is run by Spanish people only. You know why? Because once one Spanish manager got into AutoZone, they only hired Spanish people. Spanish men, Spanish women. You go to any AutoZone, I don't know about anywhere else, but in New York, they're all run by Spanish people. No, go if you want to. Anything that I say, I have receipts. Please go check for yourself. So the black people, the Bronx Borough president is a black woman. I never spoke to her, but she has somebody that works for her. His name is David. He actually blocked me from seeing her, a black man. He blocked me from getting help from her. I'll tell you why. Something different. The mayor of New York, if you go to my TikTok page, I have 3 pinned up videos. Please tap each video. The first one of the videos that you will see is I'm with the mayor of New York City. And he said he would help. Well, he's like the step infections. I'm calling him a step infection because that's how he treated me. And that's how I feel. That's my opinion for educational purposes only. And he said he would help, and he did not. And how they say they're going to help, especially like this YouTube, this lady is a YouTube help you create, be an influencer. The way they say they're not going to help is they use 3 or 4 positive reinforcements to say no. Here's how you do it. Sure, I'll help you. This is leading to no. Sure, I'll help you. You know that's what I'm here for. Leading to no. And this is what we can do for you. Can. These are positive sayings. They're using positive words to say no. So she goes, the black influencer, and I have her name, her email address, and the way she is being used as a black woman Pied Piper, thinking that because she's a failed actor, she's acting like she's helping us. It's free, and I'm gonna teach her how to be an influencer. So I asked her, would you help me with an LLC? Would you help me get my documentary out? Would you think that she'll help you get create your own trust so you could be your own bank? No, this is not the type of help they would give you. They call it help, but it's a step on your neck help. They'll help you stay down. You know, they'll help you do uneducated things. Anything educated, she's not allowed. And if she tries it, she will be penalized, okay? Because she's mad because she's a failed actor, you know? And she's in a successful situation, but she thinks she's above the niggas. But ma'am, you're still a nigga, because there's not one white woman that helps black people. And so I tried to get help from all black agencies in New York City. They're not here to help. You know, they start these black things, and like they organizations for self gratification, not for actual help. So the black mayor of not the black mayor, the black woman borough president. Do you think she's gonna do anything in the Bronx to uplift any black families, to bring black families together? No, no. She become the black Bronx borough president for self-gratification. Look at all the black mayors, women mayors. I want to say this: all the black women mayors, they're scamming the system, they're padding their paychecks. But what have they done for the black family, the black community, the black man, helping us get jobs? Nothing. Just name me one black mayor, one borough president, one politician. So what about Democrats and Republicans? I don't call myself any one of them because I'm an American. I belong to both parties. I belong to all parties. I vote for a candidate that I think that will help America, Democrat or Republicans. But the Democrats really are step infections, man and female. Any Democrat is a step infection. And I'll tell you why. Educational purposes only. Who freed the slaves? Which one of the parties fought to free the slaves? Which one of the parties fought to keep the slaves slaves? I'll wait. Well, the Democrats did not fight to free the slaves. It was the Republicans. But the Democrats will make you believe that they are for the black people because they hire black step infections. I don't remember telling you what a step infection was, and I better do so right now because I don't know when this is going to stop. A step infection is what we used to call a house nigga, okay? Not used to call, a house niggas, okay? So what that means is a step infection is somebody that people without melanin will hire to keep their foot on the black community, the black family, and sure enough, the black man, by giving us free stuff. Like this lady from California. Oh, I'll teach you how to be an influencer for free. Anything that anything that a black woman comes to you and says she'll help you and teach you for free, it's a scam. She's a step infection. Okay? That means she's paid a very lot to be a woman, a black woman Pied Piper, just like then the sinners, to bring you over into their cult, just like sinners. Okay, just like the hurricane and Terrence Bud Crawford. Okay, so just like the movies, every movie is designed to lower a black man's and a black boy's self-esteem. Okay, so like I said, so she is working for TikTok, not the owners of TikTok, but the people in charge of what goes out to help us be influencers, TikTok or whatever. And I have receipts. I would like to go on a podcast and somebody's great podcast that's established and talk about this. Well, let's talk about superheroes. Did you know that Batman was black? I don't know if I said this already. This is one of the mistakes that I think could happen because I said it before in a live. Not sure if I said it in this video, but Batman was black. His mother was a black woman. His father was a Jew or a Jewish person or Italian, and he was a mixed race with some melanin. I think his name was Mills. It was a short. He had a short last name with M, like Mills, something like that. He was the first one that did that, what you call bleaching. He was the first one that had that chamber that Michael Jackson used. Michael Jackson was the second. If you research to see who's the first man that made that chamber that Michael Jackson used to lighten his skin, it was the creator of Batman, because he was a black man. Why do you think Batman was the first superhero with a mask on? Why do you think black man? I can't stop saying that. Why do you think Batman only operated at night in the shadows? Because he didn't want everybody to know that it was a black man that was beating up on white people. And back then it was frowned upon because Batman was made in the early 1960s. So he had to have a mask and he had to portray himself as a white man for it to even come out. Because back then, when the Temptations and all of them made albums, they would put white people on the album cover so that it would sell. You understand what I'm saying? So you had to, when Batman was made, he was in the dark. He had a mask on. Batman was the first one with a mask because he was trying to hide the fact that he was a black man. And that's why he called him Batman. Okay? So with that said, and as you could see, he was rich. Or he was portrayed to be rich because the guy, I don't know if he was rich or not, but he wanted to be rich and he portrayed himself as a rich man. And as you can see, Batman was, and all the superheroes, he was the smartest. He was he was rich and he had the secret cave. Why was the safe cave secret and all of that stuff? Is because if you found out he was black, he didn't want you to know where he lived and who he was. Superman was made by two New York Italian kids, and I think Batman was black and Italian. I'm not sure, but go do your research. Two Italian kids for domestic violence. If you find the first episodes of Superman, he was thought up by two Italian kids, white kids. I'm not sure, but they wasn't of melanin, and Superman was thought up so that he would stop domestic violence, because domestic violence started in the white people, Jewish people, or the immigrants' neighborhood. It wasn't a black thing. Domestic violence was not a black thing. It is made to be that today. But Superman was made by white kids to save their white mothers from getting beat up by their white fathers. Find out for yourself. Do the research. Wonder Woman from the Amazon. Where's the Amazon? It's in the black. It's black. Amazonian women were tall and powerful. They were black women. That from the Amazon, go to the Amazon jungle. They were tall. They're still tall and powerful, more powerful than the white women. When the white women found them, they could pick the white woman up. They were stronger and powerful. So what did the white woman do? She comes back and she makes Wonder Woman as a white tribe, white, tall, powerful tribe, and all of this stuff. These are black. They were the Amazonian woman, Wonder Woman, should have been a black woman. The Hawk, the first Hawk, was a black man. He was mean and disruptive. Now, when the Hawk was made up, who did they want to portray him to be? Mean and the most powerful. No, he was mean and destructive as how he first came out. Now they want to make him more powerful, so they made him green. And then to kind of satisfy or subdue black people, they gave us Luke Kane. So this is for educational purposes only, and this is why I have PTSD, and this is why we black people, we can get together and do, what do they call that? When a whole bunch of people do a lawsuit, collective lawsuit, we could do that as black men. As far as the PTSD that TV giving us today, the 300s, Spartans in the 300s, they were fighting black people. The guy they had played by a Puerto Rican short guy, making him look tall with all the gold on him. He was black. The Persians were black. And if you know or not, as far as slavery concerned, I can say this: we black people was the first people to have slaves. I just want y'all to know that, because the Persians was the biggest. They ruled the world first for 400 years, and we enslaved the white man. And after that, they enslaved us and kept us enslaved. And the reason why they're scared of us is because they know that we have the power, if we were collective, to enslave them again or overpower the whole world. That's why they have the Africans hating the black Americans, and they tell the black Americans that Africa's over there in the dirt and all of that, when they're not in the dirt like that. You know what I'm saying? You look at Black Panther. With, Black Panther's telling you that we over there and we got technology, and stuff like that. So just to let you know why they use the black woman to weaken the black family, because they know that we're stronger. Look in boxing, Jack John, the black man used to tear their ass up. You know what I'm saying? And we as black people, our black women were stronger than the white woman, taller, had prettier hair. Do you know why the reason why black women used to wear the stuff over their head? Because their hair was better. Because their hair was better. Black women had the bigger breast, and the white women didn't like it because their white men kept going and making love to us. So the white women made black women cover their hair and cover their breast, because with these big, when you see the black women, they always had these big muumuus. Y'all call them muumuus today. They had these big muumuus on and always up to here, because they didn't want them to see the breast, but they couldn't stop the breast anyway, and the big butts and stuff like that. And so that's why the white women hated the black man, and the white women hated the black women, because their men were fancy to our women than them. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's why the white women get tans and injection in their lips, because they're still today. That's why white women put on makeup, because they still today are jealous of our melanin, of our breast size, our women's breast size, and the butts and all of that. So one more thing. This has nothing to do with PTSD, but this is for learning. This is for educational purposes only. Do you know that makeup is made by your placenta? That's why they kind of sort of don't make black people pay for having babies, because the hospitals actually sell the placenta to Maybelline and all of those people for $60,000 to $80,000. I'm not sure about the price. Please check. I could be wrong on some things, but you have to do your own research. This is for educational purposes only, and you shouldn't believe anything anybody tells you. You should do your own research. Okay. But I will tell you, the fact is that makeup is made by a woman's placenta, because if you get scraped, like you get dragged on the street and your skin scraped off, or you get burnt, they need to take skin from you, to skin grab from your leg or your buttocks, and they put it on that place that needs skin to graft it. So the only way that you can get skin on you, it has to come from you. When you get a blood transfusion, it has to come from somebody that has the same type of blood as you, mainly from your family, because their blood type should be matched with yours. So in order for you to put on makeup and it lasts all day, it has to come from you to be put on you like that. So the placentas that are being used, they could have venereal diseases. They could be AIDS infected. They could be affected placentas. And they freeze them, dry them, burn them with very hot temperatures till they get this powder. They make it and you put it on your face. You got to remember, when you have a baby and all that stuff comes out of you, those are dying cells. Not even though you froze them. That's why when they come out of your body, they freeze them right away. So they slow down the burning. If you ever see a vampire, when a vampire goes in the sun and the way their skin eats up and peels away, that's what's happening to your face when you put placenta in your face. When you put on makeup, the cells are still dying on your face. And you see a black woman, whatever her face looks like, after she put on makeup for an amount of years, you'll see blotches in her face, because makeup is made so that once you start using it, you got to always use it, because it kills the insects. There we have microscopic insects on our skin that helps us, right? And the sun, the sun rays are supposed to help us. And when you put on makeup, it stops the sun rays, so it's hurting your face there. And the placenta juice is dying. The cells from the placenta is dying because it's not being used to hold the baby anymore, so it's dying and decrepit, and this is what you're putting on your face. And all you have to do is ask your phone, what is the ingredients of makeup, and you'll see that it's used by placenta. And it could be diseased placenta. What would that matter? So if you don't have babies, you got baby juice in your face. If you have 6 kids, well, you probably have a lot of your own kids on your own face. I could be wrong, for educational purpose only, and I employ everybody to do your own research. I implore you to do so, because I could be misinformed about something. Not that the ingredients of makeup is placenta, but they're saying that they're trying to use pigs to do it, but it doesn't work that well. It works better with a woman's placenta to go on a woman's face. So let's move on. So yeah, the hurricane got freed by white woman. You see this movie called Men of Honor. Is about Cuban Gooding Jr. was in this movie called The Men of Honor. And to me, it was about 2 relationships. He was in the Navy, so was I. But it was about 2 relationships. If you look at the movie The Men of Honor, it was about a white relationship and a black relationship. And they pushed that narrative very high, very hard. Okay? It's a true story. Okay? When it comes on, you'll see that the white Navy man, he was higher ranking than Cuban Gooding Jr. He kept getting into fights, bar fights, disrespecting his family, being a drunkard, and his white lady throughout the whole movie never left his side. He was put in prison, handcuffs, fighting all his superiors, being all kinds of things. White woman never left him. The character, the Man of Honor, that was about Cuban Gooding Jr.'s character, was a stand-up black guy. He went to the military from bad beginnings. Went to the military. He wanted to be a dive master chief. Okay, and while he was on this ship, one of his legs got really hurt really bad underneath his knee, and he read a story about amputation. I mean, not amputation, about having a prosthetic limb, and he could still serve in the service. So he requested that they cut his leg off unbeknownst below the knee. What did his wife do with his child? She left him for what? Was he violent? No. They didn't portray that in the movie. Was he cheating on her? No. Why did she leave him and take his son? Because he strived to be better. Now, the white relationship, the same thing. He was destructive and a drunkard. Never left him. Black man trying to be better, do better, strive to be a role model to his son. She took the son away for what? Because she had to do hard work to help him fulfill his dream, and she took the child from him. Now, who helped the hurricane? A black boy and white people. No black woman. Who helped the man of honor, the man that Cuban Gooding Jr. played? A white man. So when us black people strive to be better, our black women are nowhere around. But at the end of Men of Honor, where was she? And dressed up really nice, and in the crowd with the son, dressed really nice. And when the white man was screaming at him where she should have been screaming at her husband, take that next step, sweetheart. You can do it for our family. She wasn't. It was a white man that they didn't want to let into the. They didn't want to let him into the courtroom. He fought to be beside that black man, and he made him take that next step for the military. Take that next step for the military, whatever. And he preached, take that next step. After he was sweating, and he took that last step, and he made it. Then his black wife and kids want to run up, Daddy, Daddy, like they was there for him all the while. Man, I was so mad at that lady. I was so mad. I'm in the Navy, and I was so mad. My wife left me in the Navy. So I have every reason to identify, with him very much so. So with that said, I say this to everybody. We need new laws to protect our children from not being exposed to PTSD at a young age. There was a black woman, and I didn't see the whole story because it cut close to my personal life. She was on there, and she unalived her 3 children, and you can hear her, and this is why I need a videographer, because you could have put it up right now. And she was crying, my family wouldn't help me, my baby daddy wouldn't help me, and I'm going to send my children up to the Lord. And I could not hear the ending of it, whether she unalived herself or whether she went to prison. I don't know, because it touched me. My black child was unalived. It touched me to my heart. I understand her. I understand her situation. And I say that to say that I'm getting choked up, so I don't even know why I brought it up. These are one of the mistakes that could have been edited out that I cannot edit out. But PTSD, yes, that's where I was at with it. The PTSD she must have endured at a young age hurt her from being able to get past the PTSD that she was going through at the time. If the PTSD was blocked from her as a child and lessons, if we had laws to lessen, there are organizations to watch out for the kids, but they're being bought out by Disney and stuff. If we can lessen the amount of PTSD that is exposed to our inner city children, that when they get depressed, when they get older, they will be able to handle more without looking to for drugs, to get into gangs. Gangs will be null and void, because the reason why kids form gangs is for support, because they're not getting it at home. For support, because family court and criminal court are using our black women as step infections to break up and unstrengthen the black families, because we're stronger than them and we'll always be. And so with that said, our children are weaker. They're exposed to um, things that they should not be exposed to, different sexual things. Now they're boys wearing skirts, and the boys are wearing skirts now, and our girls are wearing the pants now. And that's because of the PTSD that is allowed to enter our homes, to enter our babies, our children. And we must have make laws for PTSD, because there's different levels of PTSD. There's more reasons that we need laws, a scale of PTSD. Now, you've never heard this anywhere. Somebody's going to steal my idea, and will not give me credit for it, but you've heard it first here. That jobs like police officers, EMT workers, firemen, military men, they should be mandated to tell people that would like to get hired for these jobs the level of exposure, the level of PTSD exposure that they would be exposed to, which I was not privy to, and that's why I have PTSD, because I didn't know the level of PTSD being a soldier would be exposed to. Nor do most police officers, firemen, EMT workers, and just to name a few that is exposed to, like doctors and nurses. They, in their mind, they think they want to help people, but when they see the trauma that they're going to be exposed to, were they really ready for that? Were they prepared for it? I think the jobs, all jobs, even, I don't care what kind of job you have, it is, they have a level of exposure. It could be small amount. You should still be able to be transparent with the amount of exposure of PTSD that any one job will expose you to. When you apply for that job, they should be mandated to tell you the exposure of PTSD, even if you're a garbage man. What PTSD can come from that? Maybe very little. What PTSD can come from a fireman? A whole lot. From an EMT worker? A whole lot. They say New York City bus drivers die within the first 5 years of retirement. They should be told of that when they get hired from the job. They should be told what the level, because there's no PTSD scale. If you step on a roach, PTSD probably is 0.00001. Okay? If you kill a fly, 0.0001. If you're an EMT worker and go to an accident and see somebody decapitated, I mean, it's not compared to somebody with small PTSD. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that there should be a PTSD scale, okay? That's what they do with felons, and you do a crime, they scale the crime. I think it's a crime not to let people know the amount of PTSD you would be exposed to when you apply for that job. And it's class action lawsuit is what I was trying to say earlier. Black men, we could have a class action lawsuit against all the movies, the movie industry, for giving us PTSD as a little boy. Yeah, we can. And most people that have jobs that expose them to high levels of PTSD without being warned, we could have lawsuits. So what they'll do now, what they should do about that is to change the law and scale PTSD and give me recognition for bringing that up. I actually wrote a thesis about changing the law on PTSD so that we can lessen the exposure of PTSD that our black children man or female gets, so they have a choice of their own whether they want to be whatever, okay? The exposure to sex and when they could be exposed to sex, because I don't think Dwayne Wade's son should have been allowed to have a sex change at a very young age. He was exposed to sex at an early age for him to decide. When was he exposed to sex to even make that decision? There was another lady, and the stepdad gave this 14-year-old girl breast implants, and she died. Why? When was she exposed to sex? When was she exposed to sex? Did the little girl ask for implants? I don't know. That I don't know. Children that are unalived is my triggers. I cannot do in-depth research to children that were unalived. Please understand. But I am here fighting for all enemies, foreign and domestic. And if you're exposing your children to drugs and PTSD at a young age, I want to defend the children from that, and that is my job as a military person. That was the oath that we took. And look at all the laws, the Amber Alerts. They're all for white children. I want Josiah's law, and the Josiah's law that I want is a PTSD desire. Josiah. I'm getting very choked up, and these are the things that I said that I could have been edited out. Josiah's law is for PTSD exposure. How much exposure? When can a child be exposed to sex, and make sexual decisions, and changing their sex or getting breast implants? For jobs like mine that gave me PTSD coming out of the service, I was not told of the PTSD I would be exposed to. I was delusioned, really, to thinking that we was not in wartime. I should not be in any mental trouble. But when I went in, we bombed Libya. President Reagan called the Saratoga. And Gaddafi said he wanted the pilot that killed his son. Well, he came off the USS Saratoga. And I made a lot of children fatherless because we unalived a lot of other soldiers. I'm not upset about the people that we unalived because they were trying to unalive us. My PTSD about that is about the children we left without a parent. That's what bothered me. And I was not detrained coming out. I was just thrown out into the public without being detrained. I was trained to be a soldier, but not trained to be a civilian. And right after getting out of the military, I went to prison for a year because of PTSD. PTSD was not named PTSD until 2007. Other than that, there was no help for us. I got out of the military in 1986, and there was no PTSD laws or regulations or anything for us. And this is why I have PTSD very badly today. Thank you for your time. And I want to say to you, I love you. You don't have to love me, but love somebody, because love is free. God bless you, and you have a great day. Thank you.